What's up everybody, welcome back. So the experimentation continues with Tyrantrum and Aurorus in the Go Battle League, because in today's video, we're going to be putting them together again, this time in the Open Great League. Now I did try out a similar team comp in the Great League Remix. The video link to that is in the description below, do check it out. But this team is obviously a little bit more harder to use in the Open Great League simply because of the fact that Pokemon like Obstagoon and Scrafty have the potential to sweep this entire team. And also this team is going to struggle against certain Azu and G-Fisk backlines as well, right? But I guess the only good thing is that you get to use Trevenant in this team comp, with Trevenant obviously being eligible for the Open Great League, which makes it a little bit better than Gourgeist. But overall, it's definitely a little bit of a tough team to use. But honestly, this team ended up working out much better than I originally thought it would. Yes, we did get hard countered in some battles. We did run into some Obstagoons and Scrafties, but overall, we managed to go positive, which is pretty incredible for this team comp. So there's some really fun battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here, we have Trevenant into a defense form Deoxys. So it's such a beautiful lead right off the bat here. And they make a switch into their Walrein, and I was actually slightly slow to switch into my Aurorus right now. Aurorus is obviously my best response to a Walrein. And because we're slightly slow, I'm going to have to shield this here. I was thinking that's going to be an Earthquake. Unfortunately, they bait with Icicle Spear, which is not good at all. But I'm going to bait as well. I'm just going to go for the Weather Ball shield bait here. And it gets the shield from the Walrein, which is fantastic. And I'm going to try and get to a Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, we face a little bit of lag here. And this has to be an Earthquake, and I have to shield this because Earthquake would probably one-shot from this range. And then I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt right now. I'm really hoping this connects, because this is going to do massive, super effective damage against this Walrein as it does there. Just does so much damage. And at this point, I'm going to try and go for the Weather Ball right now. I'm going to try, this is either going to get the final shield from the Walrein or take it out here. They do shield that, and they get to a move as well. I'm really hoping this is not an Earthquake, but this is probably going to be an Earthquake, and it is going to one-shot the Aurorus, and unfortunately we lose switch advantage, which is not ideal at all, right? Because I needed to keep my Trevenant on their defense form Deoxys, and unfortunately they have a Drapion in the back, which is an absolute nightmare for Trevenant. But luckily they are staying in this matchup against Tyrantrum here, and Crunch does so much damage, and now they make a switch into their defense form Deoxys. But the good thing is we have a little bit of an energy lead. I'm going to be able to get off this Crunch here, doing some good super effective damage there, and then they're going to be able to farm down. That's absolutely fine, and my only win con right now is to completely farm down the defense Deoxys and land 2 Shadow Balls on the Drapion. Drapion, I'm assuming, is energy dry because they throw a Crunch on the Tyrantrum there, and we have a lot of loaded energy right now, so I'm going to go for 1 extra Shadow Claw. I need to make sure they don't sneak any extra Poison Stings here. Shadow Ball is going to do quite a bit of damage against Drapion, and I'm able to get to the second Shadow Ball just in time here, and the Shadow Ball, even though resisted, should do enough damage to take out the Drapion. That was a close one there. I mean, honestly, too close for comfort. We needed to win switch advantage, but luckily we were able to pull it off in spite of losing switch advantage there. Moving into the next battle here, we have Trevenant into an Umbreon. An absolute nightmare to lead this. This team doesn't really have a hard counter to an Umbreon, so I have to come in with my Tyrantrum right now. And Charge Move is going to come through. I don't really have to shield the first one. It is still going to do quite a bit of damage, obviously, because Tyrantrum is just so glassy. It just cannot take too many moves here. Another Charge Move is going to be coming through. I have to shield it this time if I need to get off this Earthquake. I'm going to shield this Foul Play here, and then I'm going to go for, I'm actually going to overfarm a little bit, and they make a switch into their Venusaur. Now we have back-to-back crunches right now. I'm going to go for the first crunch here, and it gets the shield. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the defense drop, but that's fine. I'm going to be able to get to the second crunch right now, and the crunch just does so much damage. It does almost 50% of Venusaur's health there. And at this point, I'm just going to come in with my Trevenant and soak up whatever this Venusaur decides to throw here. I was actually trying to switch into my Aurorus to catch a Sludge Bomb, but actually ended up working out that I didn't catch because they went straight for the Frenzy Plan, and that would have done a ton of damage against Aurorus. They come in with their Umbreon. I'm going to come in with my Aurorus here, and this is a very, very tricky situation because I still don't know what they have in the back. They probably still have a full health Pokemon in the back, so it's going to be difficult to deal with, and it's Registeel again of all things, and this is very, very, again, really difficult to deal with Registeels in the back. I mean, honestly, this thing is an absolute tank, and obviously Aurorus has such a poor matchup against it. The good thing is we have a little bit of an energy lead, so I'm going to be able to spam some Thunderbolts here. Not going to do too much damage against Registeel, but I'm going to have to shield this, right? I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm going to try and come in with my Trevenant. I'm going to overfarm a little bit. I need to have that energy advantage to basically beat the Umbreon in the back, so I'm going to bank a move and then switch in my Trevenant and throw the Seed Bomb on what should hopefully be a CMP here. So going for the Seed Bomb here, and it does end up being a CMP tie, which is great. This is going to be the Zap Cannon, and I'm hoping Zap Cannon takes us out, but I think they undercharge that because that didn't quite take us out, and Umbreon is able to get slightly sort of some extra farm there, which is not ideal. and they're going to go for a foul play right now. Hopefully we can survive it, and we do barely survive that, and I'm at the back-to-back weather balls here. I need to make sure they don't sneak an extra snarl through, and we go for the first weather ball right now. Weather ball puts this Umbreon pretty low, and this weather ball should KO the Umbreon here. But the question is, can we take out the Registeel in the back, right? Weather ball does take out the Umbreon. Out comes Registeel. Can we farm it down? No, we cannot. That is just absolutely heartbreaking right there. Very, very close, but Registeel is just way too tanky, especially towards endgame there. Moving into the next one here, we have a Trevenant into a Politoed, a pretty solid lead. You definitely want to catch Politoads in the lead, and we have an Obstagoon, the nemesis for this team. Honestly, Obstagoon is probably the hardest Pokemon to deal with because, I mean, these Shadow Claws are triple resisted. I really cannot switch into my backline, and this is where I probably made a slight mistake here. I shielded the first Night Slash because they ended up getting the boost. And we're down a shield, they have a boost right now, and this game is almost over because I should just be pressing top left at this point, but I decided to play it out and see how far we can get. But I'm going to shield this next Night Slash here and get off the Seed Bomb and hopefully catch a next Night Slash on my Tyrantrum or something. But anyways, going for the Seed Bomb here, and Seed Bomb does get the shield, and unfortunately, because they snuck an extra counter through, they were able to get off a move here, and Night Slash is easily going to be able to take out the Trevenant, and I'm hoping that I can farm this thing down with Dragon Tail, but we're taking so much damage from counters, right? And also, they're able to get to another move as well, and it ends up being a boosted Cross Chop, which also takes out the Tyrantrum. And Aurorus honestly has no play. I mean, it is double weak to fighting, and these counters are absolutely destroying it here. They're going for another Cross Chop, and yeah, there's nothing much to say except for the fact that Obstagoon brought out the broom and went for a sweep there. So moving into the next one here, we have Trevenant into a Unova Stunfisk. Beautiful lead. You want to catch this thing on the lead, and they make a switch into their Scrafty. Now, this is, again, if Obstagoon was a nemesis, so is Scrafty. But the good thing is Scrafty is actually slightly better than Obstagoon. I mean, a better Pokemon to run into, I should say. Simply because of the fact that these Shadow Claws are at least doing single resisted damage, whereas Obstagoon takes triple resisted damage from the Ghost moves there. But again, as long as we can shield the foul plays, Trevenant is going to be able to put in some work against Scrafty. So I'm going to shield this up as well. Luckily, they don't bait. And we have so much energy right now, right? I'm going to the back-to-back Seed Bombs here. I'm going to go for the first Seed Bomb right now and do one extra Shadow Claw and then throw the second Seed Bomb here probably. No, actually, I decided to throw right away. I should have probably built up an extra Shadow Claw because they snuck a counter through there. And now I'm going to try and catch a move on my Tyrantrum right now. But they don't throw. They're still holding on to the energy. If for some reason they didn't get off a move, which is... I'm not sure what was going on there, but the good thing is we have a slight energy lead on the Tyrantrum, and I'm going for the Crunch right now simply because of the fact that they could probably get a move, and trying to get to an Earthquake, I might not get there, but we get the defense debuff from the Crunch, and now they're going to get off a move. Mud Bomb is obviously easily going to KO from this range, but they actually decide to go for the Discharge. They probably want to go for the Discharge and farm down, but unfortunately for them, we have another move. I'm going to be able to get off a Crunch here. Crunch is going to be taking out the Unova Stunfisk, and they have a Skarmory in the back, and this game is over because we have a full health Aurorus in the back, and Aurorus completely walls Skarmory here. All these flying moves are resisted. If they're running Flash Cannon, I mean, that's going to be a GG, but most Skarmories are not running Flash Cannon, so it's actually okay. And we get off the Thunderbolt, which is fantastic, and they go for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird is resisted, and at this point, because they've lowered their defense, I should be able to farm all the way down there. So again, Aurorus definitely has some decent matchups in the Open Great League meta. It's going to do really well against Altaria. It's going to do well against Skarmory. Probably some grass types, as long as they're not running Razor Leaf. So it's not the worst Pokemon out there, and definitely better than what people give it credit for, I should say. Moving into the next one here, we have Vigoroth at the lead. Again, you definitely want to catch Vigoroth at the lead, and they make a switch into that Altaria. This is where Aurorus really shines. This is such a beautiful matchup for the Altaria. Again, I'm going to be able to build up basically 2 Weather Balls here, and then go for the first Weather Ball right now. Weather Ball is going to probably get the shield or take out the Altaria from this range as it does there, and that's absolutely beautiful for me. I'm going to be able to get off the second Weather Ball right now onto this Vigoroth, and Vigoroth does give up a shield, which is even better for me because, again, we have so much loaded energy on the Trevenant, right? Again, the Trevenant is not going to be able to go for any hard-hitting moves against Vigoroth. You're going to have to chip away with Seed Bombs, but it's still such a positive matchup because Trevenant completely walls Vigoroth, right? Everything in Vigoroth's moveset is resisted by Trevenant, and they're going to go for a move right now. That is absolutely fine. We are up 2 shields, and again, hopefully a Tyrantrum can sweep towards endgame. They go for the Bulldoze, they make a switch into their Nidoqueen, but the good thing is we have a 2 shield advantage here, and they didn't even build up to an Earth Power. This is just going to be a Poison Fang, which is resisted. I'm going to let this go through right now, and I'm going to go for the Crunch here. There's no reason to go for the Earthquake because they are getting pretty low anyways, and these Dragon Tails are absolutely chunking. And going for the crunch right now gets the defense drop, and we're able to farm down with Dragon Tail. And unfortunately, Vigoroth is going to be able to come in and farm down, but they actually decide to throw, which is definitely a misplay on their part. They should have farmed down. But honestly, it doesn't matter anyways, because we have 2 shields with Trevenant, and all I need to do is go for the Seed Bomb, and we're going to be able to get a 2 shield flex there. So even though I didn't aim for getting any 2 shield flexes here, but then again, you don't really need shields for Trevenant against a Vigoroth. So as you can see, I mean, this team, honestly, not too bad. Yes, we did get hard countered in a couple of battles, but overall, it is working out pretty well here. So moving into the next one here, we have a Trevenant into a Politoed right now. So this is again a pretty solid lead here. We did run into a Politoed earlier as well. Hopefully they don't have an Obstagoon in the back, but they have a Hypno in the back. This is actually really good for Trevenant. Unfortunately, I allow them to sneak an extra confusion through, which is not ideal. So going for the Seed Bomb shield bait here, we do get a shield. And I'm going to try and catch a move on my Tyrantrum right now. Let's see what this is. And they actually go for Thunder Punch, which is interesting. That's actually a good thing because that's resisted by Tyrantrum because of that Dragon typing. And I'm going to go for the Crunch right away because of these confusions are doing so much damage, and I want to get this off before they can get off another move. And Crunch does take out the Hypno from this range, and they come back with their Politoed, and they're going to go for a move. I'm completely okay with this. I'm going to let this go through and come back with my Trevenant here. And yeah, they do let that go through. I'm going to come in with my Trevenant. This is where I make a bit of a mistake, right? I came in right away. I should have waited out the switch clock because I was slightly late to switch out of the opening matchup, which means that my switch timer is not back up yet, whereas theirs is. But the good thing is we have a 2 shield advantage against a Talonflame and a Politoed, and hopefully Aurorus is going to be able to clean up here. I'm going to shield this Flame Charge. In hindsight, I probably could have let the first one go through because it's only neutral because of the fire, because of the rock ice typing, I should say. I do have to shield the second one because it's boosted and it's going to do quite a bit of damage here. And I'm going to farm up as much as I can and then go for the Weather Ball right now. Weather Ball will take out the Talonflame from this range. And I should be able to get to a Thunderbolt before this Politoed can get off a move. Able to get to a Thunderbolt right now. This is going to do massive, super effective damage against this Politoed. Puts us extremely low. Can we farm down the Politoed? And we're barely able to do it here. They were very, very close to a Weather Ball. I don't know if Weather Ball would have KO'd from that range. We probably would have barely lived that and gotten off a Weather Ball anyway. So I guess we had that for the most part there. Moving into the next one here, we have a Bastiodon in the lead. Again, slightly tricky. We don't really have a solid response to a Bastiodon. So I'm just going to stay in with my Trevenant right now and going for the Shadow Ball right away to do as much neutral damage as possible. This is going to do quite a bit of damage to Bastiodon here. And then we're going to try and farm up as much as we can. I'm going to shield this up. This is probably going to be a Flamethrower here. And my hope is to catch the second Flamethrower on my Tyrantrum. So I'm going to actually farm up as much as I can, get this Bastiodon pretty low, and I'm going to go for the Seed Bomb right now. This is probably, I'm going to go for the bait here. Hopefully they do shield that, and they do shield it, which is fantastic. And now I'm going to bank a Seed Bomb. I'm actually going to throw the Seed Bomb as well. Let's see if this gets the second shield from the Bastiodon. They do let that go through. Immediately switching to my Tyrantrum to catch this Flamethrower here. Hopefully it's a Flamethrower because that's double resisted because of the Dragon rock typing on the Tyrantrum, which is great. We wasted a bunch of energy there, and they come in with their Jellicent. Now Jellicent isn't necessarily a hard counter to a Tyrantrum because we have access to Crunch, which is going to do super effective damage. But unfortunately they snuck a Hex through there. So I lost track of energy, which is why I decided to shield this, which ends up being a mistake towards the end there because it ends up being just a Bubble Beam. And they have a Talonflame in the back. You'd love to see it. Talonflame, those Incinerates are double resisted again. Going for the Crunch right now, gets the shield from the Talonflame. And I'm actually going to try and catch a move on the Trevenant. Unfortunately, I don't get it in time. They have to go for Brave Bird, right? Because Flame Charge is not going to cut it. They go for Brave Bird, lower their defense. And all I need to do is at this point is come in with my Aurorus. And I can just go for the Weather Ball, and because their defense has been debuffed, this Weather Ball is going to be more than enough to take out the Talonflame from this range there. So pretty close one, honestly, I guess. So there are certain matchups like that one where a Tyrantrum can come in super clutch, right? Completely walling fire types there. So an absolute nightmare lead with Greedent here. Going to immediately switch into my Tyrantrum, and they are still staying in, which is a good sign. They probably don't have a hard counter to rock, but they go for the Body Slam Shield Bait, which is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't recommend going for the bait in this matchup simply because of the fact that Greedent can get to Crunch as well pretty quickly. Yeah, I go for the Crunch right now, and they do have a fighter. So they do have a counter for a rock type, which is a Medicham. So it's a good thing we baited it out. So I'm going to come back with my Trevenant here. And this is going to be an Ice Punch. So I'm actually going to shield this just to preserve a little bit of health on Trevenant. And then I'm going to try and go for the Seed Bomb right now to hopefully get a shield. Or if it doesn't get the shield, it's going to put this Medicham pretty low, right? It doesn't quite KO, it puts it pretty low. I'm going to do one extra Shadow Claw and then catch the Ice Punch on the Aurorus here. Obviously, it's resisted because of the ice typing. And then we're going to be able to farm down. Unfortunately, we take a lot of counter damage there, so I'm not sure if that was worth it. And they actually come back with their Greedent now. So that means that they probably don't have a solid response to an Aurorus in the back, right? Probably their Medicham was their only counter, which is really good because hopefully Trevenant also has a better matchup towards endgame there, because Trevenant has such a poor matchup against Greedent. And they do shield the Weather Ball. I'm able to get to a second Weather Ball as well. Let's see if they want to give up both shields in this matchup. And they do want to give up both shields. This tells me that they could be incredibly weak to Ice or Rock in the back. So I'm going to shield this up and hopefully I can farm this thing down before they can get to another move. And I am able to farm it down, and they have a Nidoqueen in the back. So that makes sense here. They didn't want to bring it out against the Aurorus. Able to get to this Weather Ball here. It's going to do massive super effective damage. And I can just come in with my Trevenant, and all I need to do is get to a Seed Bomb here. This is just going to be a Poison Fang. We can easily tank a Poison Fang from this range. And Seed Bomb is going to be able to do enough neutral damage to take out the Nidoqueen here. So does take it out, and that takes the win for us there. And yeah, like I said, overall this team, honestly, we were able to go positive. So I had like a couple of positive sets with this team. We finished with a 4-1 set, which is really nice. And yeah, I mean, definitely, I guess, not the best team. If I tried out, I guess, in a larger sample size, if I tried out like 4 or 5 sets of battles, I don't think I'll go positive with this team, because it's definitely not the best team out there. It's got a ton of weaknesses against the majority of the meta. But overall, it was definitely a lot of fun to use there. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take care.